This week on the Push Pull Legs podcast, we talk threads. We've been threading. We also talk about weight loss drugs and Caster Semenya. 3, 2, 1. Start a vlog, Dan.
Hey guys, welcome to the Push Pull Legs podcast with myself, Dan Mink.
And me, Tom Hall, in far more clarity than Dan's normally getting.
I know, mate, that phone hack is pretty good. I might have to try that myself. I'm sure my clients will love seeing me in better definition than I currently am in all the time. But that's all good. Mate, what's your vlog about then? Is it just the Housewives of London or something like that?
The Housewives of London, that's
PTs of London.
Yeah. No, I decided to be accountable to myself and document, because vlogs are a thing. I might be 8 years too late for vlogs, but because I do like education shit mainly on my YouTube. Basically, it'd be like stuff like that and housing stuff. So I was like, I'm going to keep myself fucking accountable to becoming half an Iron Man. Don't know which half yet. And I'm going to do a weekly summary of all my fucking shit I do. So it's only going to be like 15 minutes long. So in YouTube, you can watch it on 2.0. So yeah, that's be the case. So I talked about, what did I talk about this week? I think it's coming, as I record this, it's coming out this evening. So talk about all my training, all my heart rate data's up there, what's changing, what I'm doing, blah, 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 why I make decisions, coaching decisions, when I make them, blah, 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 why I do that. And then obviously shit things like what I'm listening to. And this one was like the whole shoe debacle. I was like, what shoe was I going to get to? Yeah, all that kind of fun stuff. Of course. But basically, it's just me talking to myself for 15 minutes, if really. Or kind of, I feel like I'm talking to you. That's how I'm going to pitch it, because I'm so used to talking to you on camera. I'm going to be like, imagine if Dan was there, and then, I'll be just... Yeah, you would have been falling.
So you're just abusive. You're just abusive, basically, and telling someone, "Oh, you can't do this. You're shit at golf." And then
that's what happens. That's what happens, mate. But what was fun as well, because very tongue in cheek, because obviously, I think some of our humour can be quite similar. And last week, I've been wearing my new shoes, but from wearing new shoes, you get blisters, and I haven't run for a while. So very tongue in cheek after my run. Like I was like, did a little summary on my Instagram, blah, 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 blah. And then I just wrote in my next story, now taking sponsorship at Compede. And then Compede. They sent me stuff. Yeah, they literally, I woke up to a message from them. They were like, yeah, awesome, Tom. Like,
mate, you got some followers. See what happens when you have followers and you start tagging people in it?
And then I was just like, so this podcast is brought to you by Compede. Fuck it. I don't give a shit. Like they sent me they sent me free stuff. It was an interesting thing, because I was like, I clicked on they haven't got a lot of followers, but I'm also thinking, like, does Compede need to do social media? I don't really know. It's an odd one, isn't it?
It's just brand awareness, isn't it, I suppose? That thing.
I was just
I think it's one of those things where, if you even at marathons, right? If you saw Compede advertisements around, that on the marathon you're not going to need one, but you also associate that with, then if you have felt a blister coming on and you saw Compede around all the time, you would then the next day, in theory, be like, well, I need some Compede. Like, I think with that sort of branding, it's interesting. I'm reading a book at the moment. It's about a similar type of thing, and it's about like top of mind branding, and it's about how a lot of companies, don't necessarily need to advertise their product as if like you're going to have it now, but it's more a case that they have to advertise so that when you do want it, it's the one thing that's top of your mind the whole time. And it's why content marketing is so useful. It's why these coaches that post once a week are fucking useless and won't get anywhere. Is that you need to be top of mind, with all this sort of stuff and the thoughts and feelings of, again, things that are associated with it. So like we just said then, running is associated with, well, I may get a blister. Well, you may not. Correct. But when you think blister, you think Compede. You don't think Boots' own brand one. You go Compede.
No, you're going like, absolutely, let's get the finest. And Compede is amazing. I'm
all right, Tom, flipping out. I know they've already sent it to you, mate. They've already sent it to you. All right, calm down.
That's what happened with my protein, right? I was just like, hey, look at this. This is all I want. But yeah, I haven't got a discount code. I don't think do they sell them online? They must sell it online or something. But yeah, lovely job. Thank you, Compede.
There you go.
Yeah, but it was basically from a very tongue in cheek, like just like, lol, I've got blisters. That's about it.
Yeah.
From my runs. So yeah. Mate, running's hard, isn't it? I didn't
Yeah.
want to go for a
Why
run
would you do
yesterday,
that?
Dan, but I did. I did go for a
Oh,
run.
well done, mate. Because
And,
you don't rely on motivation, right? You don't. You're all about discipline. No motivation needed.
discipline, exactly. I was just like,
Oh,
boom. And I've been working all day. Then I was like, oh no, I have to. It's in my diary, so I've got to do it. I'm the keeper of my own diary. But yeah, I went and
Honestly,
did it.
the amount of those posts that I see from coaches that just I'm bored of now. You can't like, you know, the
What
ones like you can't rely on
like,
motivation.
oh really?
Right. Yeah, it's just like because the reason that they annoy the reason that posts annoy me now more than they should from coaches is the hypocrisy, because I know how they run their businesses and I know that they don't turn up and stuff. You know, when they're like, oh, it's not about just turn up whenever you fancy it, it's turn up even when you don't want to. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Yeah, same with the Instagram post, mate. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're not doing that though, are you? And it's just I hate it, because I feel like it's just shouting hypocrite. I just feel like shouting hypocrite all the time. Because it does wind me up a little bit that they can't see the connection. They don't see the. And I get that sometimes we post these things as much for ourselves as other people, but the one that I saw that really wound me up today was it was again from a PT, and it was saying how
Sorry,
you
mate.
don't what. Oh, you, yeah, no, it wasn't you. No, it was literally like, you're never going to be motivated. You just have to start, or this sort of stuff. And I was always like, as the PT, it's like when you can train whatever day of the week and whatever time of day you want, and you're telling someone that it's not about motivation when they need to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to train because it's the only time they've got in the day. It's a bit different. Like, don't, and people, and then the PTs go, oh, yeah, but I've got your ability to go and train clients. Yeah, you're getting paid to do that. So that's why you
paid there.
It's the accountability. Yeah. These people aren't getting paid to go to the gym. They're doing it for their health, whatever, which again doesn't see a direct return like you do your job. And it just frustrates me quite a lot when online coaches, but PTs as well, do that, because I'm like, you get to train at 2 p.m. when the gym is quiet, you're fully fed, you're not really that tired, you can have some caffeine, feel good about your training, you've got plenty of time to fit it in, probably 2-hour gap to fit it in, feel quite comfortable with it, really enjoy it, and then you get on with the rest of your day. So I'm like, it just annoys me, like when you're telling a family person who's got 2 kids, full-time job, and they get up at 6 a.m. to go train in the gym to say, can't rely on motivation. You can't. Like,
all right, in the diary.
Calm down.
Well, yeah. I've got to pick up my kid from school because they've been sick, and then I'll do this, then realize the washing's not done, and stuff like that. Yeah, it's fine. But mate, I couldn't rely on motivation. That just went. That was what I was doing. I was like, yes, I've got to go. Basically, it wasn't raining, so I was like, as long as
there you go.
Raining, I'll go. No.
That's all you need, isn't it? As long as it's not raining, that's all that matters.
And I knew I wasn't training today because I had a very first world problems. I had too many clients to see today.
Oh, dear.
I know it's a horrible position for a personal trainer to be in, but we're all good. All good.
It's almost like you earned it, mate.
No.
From being good at your job. No, you just sent some DMs. That's probably all it is.
I sent just a DM when they followed me. Yeah, what is with this? All right, I've realized that I've been part of mentorship, and then I've also disagreed. You're allowed to disagree with your mentor. Shock. On certain things. This is going to be the only business chat today. I feel like
no one's allowed to disagree with me.
You're not my fucking mentor, Jesus. Could you imagine?
No, I mean, if they're listening,
me and you.
I meant if they're listening.
Could you imagine? Told me you to go fuck yourself, Dan. Learn to putt before you can tell me what to do. Okay,
yeah, cool. That's literally what you were saying as
well. The whole follow. I'm sure you don't teach this because we've had this conversation, and obviously it's a tactic of like when somebody follows you, send them a message. Cool, send them a message, but maybe send it in like a week to 10 days. Put a little timer counter on it, something like that, so they actually follow you and like absorb your content. If you're consistent with your content, that's absolutely fine, and your stories, and they're able to like view that or see some posts and feeds and stuff like that. But not on the day and just going like, oh, I like fitness. What are your goals in fitness right now? I'm like, oh my god, that's to the point. I get you, but I guarantee if you manage in some sort of freak miracle to sign that person up, because it's the 100th person you talked to today. But if they come on, they're not staying for very long because they have no idea what you do. It's infuriating. Yeah, we won't say what that's part of, but I'm sure there's been people who fucking listen to this podcast who are part of that mentorship who do that. 1,000% of it, I guarantee. Yeah. So, because I think some people know that I'm in that, and I'm in who do this show. But yeah, interesting. especially my clients. Yeah. Oh God, taking everything out of it though, haven't we? What I've got off on a tangent, Dan. An angry
You
tangent.
always do, mate. You always do.
It's usually you. So, but yeah, thanks, Compede.
Yeah, it's all about the compy, mate. Let's be honest. They're the ones.
I've got one on right now, Dan, because I get a weird, because I have such flat feet. Like there's a blister bit in there. But I've
Mate,
noticed
no one
there's
needs
a
to hear
lot
about your feet. Shut up.
Do you want to see them?
No, no one
No?
wants to see them.
No, I mean,
Not at all.
my OnlyFans is going off on foot pictures. So, doesn't Laura do that? No,
Not yet. She should
not
do.
yet.
Make some
She should.
some fucking money. Jesus.
That's the thing. Untapped world out there.
Untapped world.
Untapped. Nobody wants to see our feet, so it's fine. Yeah, very strange. But all right, I had a fun weekend. I went to Live Golf. That was fun. It's thus proving that I think the whole world has a far shorter attention span than it ever has done previously. It definitely is happening. You can see it in cricket, obviously, with 2020 and the 100. Golf, obviously, that only lasted like 5 hours, the whole event. Wasn't enough golf for me, if I'm really honest. I want them to prolong it somehow. Do 2 shotgun starts, so like 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. They should do that. More money, more players. That would be more fun, I think. So there's a natural like break in the middle to get a little bit more pissed.
I think they should do. I think what they should do with that I do hope that the PGA and Live, when they combine, do it, is more of like the team golf, but not as in like the teams that they do at the moment, where they do like, oh, everyone's there. They should do things like a scramble. They should do things like, a 4-ball versus a 4-ball, almost like they do on YouTube. They should look at YouTube a little bit and go, right, what are they doing on YouTube? Why is that going well? Why do people like watching it? And do teams of 2, do you know what I mean? Like on the same course, like doing it together, and things like that, I think would work really well for TV, especially. I think people would watch it. I think just the problem with golf, singles golf, is unless you really, really love it, it's a bit boring. Whereas I think you can root for teams a little bit more. And if you understand the concept of teams, and I think scrambles adds like an element of pressure to it, because obviously at that level, they'd all be so fucking good. But it would be more for them the 20, 30 foot putts they might make more, rather than for us to be like the fucking 8-foot ones, whatever. It'd just be interesting to see their tactics and how they approach it. Do you know what I mean? If like 2 trying to hit a driver and get wayward, and someone's got to hit an iron, and like, how do you, I just think with Live Golf, they need to start. I hope that that's that branch of it that they take, is that they do like the PGA main events, and then they do the odd event like the Phoenix Waste Management, where they go, right, it's going to be a team thing, 3-on-3, better ball or worse ball or something like that. Just something stupid, but that is more like YouTube. And they should look into the YouTube analytics and realize why people like watching certain videos, why they get the most, the most views and stuff. It'd be interesting. But anyway, another tangent we went off on there, but a relevant one based on what we're talking about.
Just what everybody really wants to know, because obviously a 6-year-old named all of the teams in Live. But which one are you, Dan? So to put this into context, these are the names, okay, of the Live Golf teams. The 4 Aces.
That's me. I'm one of them.
The Gleeks, that's almost Meek. The Crushers, the Fireballs, the High Flyers, the Ironheads, the Majestics, the Range Goats, the Rippers.
The Range Goats.
I believe that's Range, greatest of all time. The Smashers, the Stingers, and Torque, as in like T-O.
Yeah.
T-O-R. Yeah. What would you be? So I'm gonna be the Rippers, because I like Cam Smith. But they're all Australian. That's the thing, because they're all vaguely split up into like nationalities. Annoyingly, so you got full American. No, you're weird, Patrick Reed. All right, Jesus.
Oh
Christ.
no, I don't want to be in that group. No, any
Well, the English one, the Majestics. That's just a bit.
The Majestics.
Yeah, it is a bit of shit now. Yeah. Like
basically the iron something, the Iron Spades,
the Iron Heads.
Iron Heads. There you go.
I mean, you don't want to be that. That's an awful team. They're not good players. You don't want them. I feel like you would like Team Smash. That's Brooks. That's the Kopkas.
No.
Team Stinger. Dan can't hit a stinger. Well, you naturally hit stingers. Louis Oosthuizen. They're all South African. It's pretty cool.
The South African suffers, yeah. No, not like that.
To be fair, the nicest, I think the nicest hats that were there were the Gleeks. but Martin Keimer, a bit boring, and Richard
Maybe I
Bland.
should go
Did you
Gleeks
get
then,
more
just 'cause
Bland?
it sounds similar to my name.
Some
Maybe that's
Meeks.
that's
You
the
just
thing.
scribble out the CL and write an M on it. And you're like, yep, Team
Yeah, let's do
Gleeks.
that.
Right, let's go with them. Good. It's a nice green as well. I got the Rippers are red. They're all good. All right. Glad everybody's wanted that. I didn't buy a hat though. I was kind of annoyed, but it was good fun. Good fun. Highly recommend people going to Live Golf if you like golf, even though everybody hates that thing. All right. Let's talk. We've got 3 subjects ish. We're going to keep off PT business ish. Not really. Because we tend to talk about. I always think it's weird how this has naturally just kind of gone towards that. Obviously, it's more of what career-based stuff we're doing, how we gravitate towards that, what we know. But we'll talk about threads, because by the time this out, I might have posted at least 1 or 2 threads. I've done 1. That was pretty good. I think that's me done, to be honest. I was never a
So you
Twitter
need,
fan,
isn't it?
so
Just one. You don't need one.
just
I don't
one.
think you need
Just yeah. And then we'll talk about some Castor Semenya and some weight loss drugs, of course, because Dan's always got an opinion on number 1, women, and number 2, trans.
Always.
Unsolicited
is
or
a
not.
funny
Threads.
one.
Let's go. Threads.
Threads is a funny one because
if anybody's
I
been
think
living
it's-
under a rock, this is Twitter. Just copy and paste.
Yeah. I think it's one of those where, like, I just think that coaches and everyone will jump on it, but what they won't realize is that it's just going to be mainly creators that are on there at the moment. I don't think there's many general population people on it. I think a lot of them are content creators, people who have a business, people who have something or other, because they use Instagram a little bit more. It's easy for them to just create an account. Whereas I think for most normal people, Threads is like, oh, great, another social media platform, brill. Well, I'm not on Twitter, so why would I get this? It's pointless. If I wanted to be on Twitter, I'd be on Twitter. That's the way that I look at it, I think.
Yeah.
I just think, and yeah.
Is it
It's just another thing for people to fuck up that they can't, they can't do Instagram properly, but they'll just jump over there, and it's just like brilliant.
I don't like the logo as well. I think it's a bit wanky logo. Did you see the thing that it looks exactly like the inside of Homer Simpson's ear?
Weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
Very strange.
Very strange. But yeah, I don't like the logo. I don't like the swooshy sash thing. That if you repost your own thread on your story or your thing, that it goes behind it. That annoys me. And I didn't know what it is. I wrote my first thread was this is my first tweet. And yeah, obviously because I don't know what a thread is. Is it? Am I doing a thread? Is that what it is? I'm doing the thread.
I think it's still so young that people won't really know how to use it or what they want to use it for at this point yet. And yeah, I just don't think at this moment in time it's useful for anyone. That's my gut reaction.
Yeah,
is that I think anyone who's replying to you on there or is interested in what you're doing on there, they're following Instagram anyway. They're on there. That's you're probably highest engaged people on Instagram, on Threads. I think if you're comfortable and you're happy getting used to it and want to use it, then who am I to tell you not to? Just make sure that everything else is done first. Like I threaded the other day. Is that what we're going to call it now?
I think so.
I basically said all these coaches that are too busy to write emails to their list or have an email list. Funny how they quickly picked up Threads, and it's that, yeah. And it got quite a few replies. People are like, yeah, interesting. Like they felt seen or whatever. And again, it's just that whole thing of conspiracy theory is, were Instagram losing grip on Instagram? Was engagement down? Was all this stuff going the wrong way for them? Were they losing people, to other things, and they just wanted to create some hype around something and just thought, well, copy Twitter, it's easy to copy. There's not much to it. Threads. There isn't much. There's not much to it, right? I don't think it would have been a particularly difficult app to create, based on what you can see on Instagram and Facebook and stuff. So the conspiracy theory there is, again, where do they need to remain relevant somehow on Instagram because they're losing touch and people are sick and tired of the platform, etc., etc. And they obviously used it as a publicity stunt to say, like, oh, we've had over 10 million signups in the first day or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but it was because people could press one fucking button and all of a sudden they had their thread. So
Yeah.
it was not hard, was it? And the fact that you're obviously already, like, I've already got an audience of like 1,100 people because they've all come over from Instagram. So it's kind of like, well, yeah, that's probably one of the benefits of it, right? Rather than starting from zero on Twitter and feeling like you're talking to no one. I just don't get it. I don't get yet how I think it's going to be helpful for people's businesses that they can't already get elsewhere. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's that different. I would much rather coaches bothered actually doing an email list and actually writing emails rather than trying to write 140 characters. Write 1,040 characters and send it to an email list, and you'll find your business will improve because of it. Like, that's the reality. But they don't want to hear that, do they?
More people will fucking see it as well.
More the right people as well. That's
more the right people who have already fucking got something from you. Hopefully some freebies. And if there's an FYI, I still have my lead magnet, which is I'm posting about most of the time. Yeah, but it's not a lead magnet. It's not a lead magnet. No, definitely not. No, it's a free thing, of course. Already quite a lot of people downloaded it, which is good. People were interested, so yeah, go over and download it. It's fine.
I haven't downloaded it. Maybe I feel like I should go on your.
You haven't fucking downloaded it, mate. I know who's downloaded it.
I feel like I should go on your email list. I should. No, that's what I'm saying. I feel like I should though go on your email list just so I can get abuse off you.
There's usually abuse about podcasts. That's absolutely fine. But see you fucking on it. I'm on Dan Meek's podcast. I'm on Dan. I just told you this. This is not your podcast. This is our podcast. Mine. It's mine because I paid the fee. That's why it's mine. So yeah, Dan's not paid a dime. He bought a thing, and that's it.
Yeah,
he's sitting there with his. He's got a Ferrari. Did you know that? And he doesn't pay £80 for the podcast a year. Bad. Isn't it?
If I had a Ferrari, I would not be doing this podcast.
I meant one of those toy ones. So
toy one, yeah.
The toy one on your desk, that like Isabel comes in like woo, around. That's fine. But anybody wants to know that I am on Dan's email list, or I think it's on Dan's or by the Bicep one, but I put Dan's name on it because I thought it was funny. So it was interesting that you wrote, was it Morning Balance or on one of the, I think I saw that. I was like, I really wanted to reply.
Yeah, because I changed your name on it.
Is it me? Is it just
yes? Yes. I've changed your name on it to Belen because you put my name down. So I just put Morning, and then it would have been first name, and then it would have been Belen.
Because I was really confused. I thought you'd done that as an engagement thing, and I was like, "Oh, I'll click on that." I was like, "That's kind of slightly riled me." And I was like, "Smart. He's a smart lad." If that's just for me, you prick. Okay, well,
just for you, mate.
There we go. Amazing. Because obviously on his email list is I am just Dan Meek. So yeah, I thought that was funny. I just thought Mike would be like, Dan, why you just decided to be on the email list? Like, you'd be like, fuck's sake.
Tom. Yeah, that's Tom for you.
Yeah, that's me.
He thinks he's clever. Yeah.
Funny. Anyway, yeah, my view on threads. I'm useless at Twitter. Hence why I do a lot of I don't do a lot of written based work. I do obviously do my emails, but not massively. It's normally pointing towards content and video stuff that I do, because I'm far better at explaining shit in person and coaching than I am for short snippets. So I think still, if you're thinking about going on it, I think stick to your guns. It's like Dan's gotten better at copy over the years, after he stopped writing in crayon when I first met him. So yeah, that's obviously a skill that he's learned. And I think it's similar to me. Like over the last 10 years, I've spoken in front of like hundreds and hundreds of people. So I'm a little bit better at that. So yeah, I still think stick to your guns. If you're better at fucking Instagram, just keep doing that. I don't really understand.
Yeah.
If you're gonna like just jump over, it's fine. Or just dabble with it. Have it as a side project. But yeah, I wouldn't say like, yes, you must do that. What's the 80-20 rule? Like 80% in one platform, blah, 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 20% in something else.
It's the 80% of your income comes from 20% of the work you do, or 80% of whatever you get back, whatever you do, comes from 20% of something that you do. So again, it's about focusing on that quality and going, right, that 20% for most people is Instagram. So focus on Instagram. Don't fuck around, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's basically don't fuck around. Right, let's talk about the news. Obviously, we can only speculate who the BBC person is right now, so that's always that'll
We're
be,
not
that'll be
allowed,
fun.
mate, because we could
We're
get
not
sued.
allowed.
So
We might get sued. Yeah,
not
our
worth it.
massive, very niched audience will be.
Mate, they'll bob us in. Don't you worry about it. I know what they're like.
We don't know who it is. Apparently, but there was something in the paper today that 1 in 6 people do know who it is.
How?
I had over 6 clients today, and I asked every single one of them, and none of them knew. So, slightly annoyed.
How do they come up with those stats? Like,
I know. We were like, how are they coming up with that? Like, have they just stood outside the BBC and then gone, showed them a big like list of people? Who do you think it is? And they point at it like, yep, you knew it was that person. It's like, I don't know who's answering that question. Like, because if you publicly go and name someone, they all end up suing that person for like defamation, right? So
yeah,
that's why it's all very like, ooh, there's kind of like, yeah, a lot of defamation laws over celebrities right now. So, and obviously me and Dan are massive celebrities, so we cannot say it. It would be rife across the internet.
It's not worth it, mate, for us. We've got too much on the line. Too much on the line. So.
Too much clout. Too much. That's a term, isn't it? Lots of clout. All right. Let's talk about, what do you want to talk about? Weight loss jabs or Caster Semenya? Weight loss jabs.
Yeah.
Weight loss jabs investigated for suicide risk. That is today, I think it came out. Which is Europe's drugs regulators told BBC News that conducting a review, some weight loss jabs are being alerted to possible link of thoughts of suicide and self-harm among users. This is an interesting one, Daniel. So, me putting my logical thinking hat on is somebody who's gone to the decision of taking a weight loss drug is probably not happy with their life currently anyway.
Quite possibly, Tom. Yeah.
So if I was gonna do a mental health questionnaire check, whatever, for the people who think about weight loss or have had the possibility of buying such product against the people who probably would never, let's say me or you, I would assume my assumption, my hypothesis would be that there may be more mental health, let's say, issues. I'm air quoting this because there are, I think, detrimental suicide ones in that population than the other one. Just saying that. But anyway, what are we talking?
I just think it's like, obviously with any drugs there's going to be side effects, right? And that is inevitable. But I think, as you said there, that there's an element of this that is hugely related to mental health. And like we talk about obesity all the time and how it's not just about food, it's so much more than that. Other things going on, it's through the environment, it's doing all this other stuff. And I think I think some of the hormones, I think some of the jabs, play on hormones. I think they manipulate some hormones. I don't know. I honestly don't know that much about all of them. But I think the second you start messing around with hormones, hormones usually work in partnership. There's usually one that counteracts another one. That's usually how they kind of work in the body from everything I know about, from a health, from a nutritional standpoint, everything that I know about it. So I just feel like sometimes you don't quite know what's going to happen with one other hormone by reducing another one or dare I say, altering another one's behavior in some way. It just strikes me as a very, very dangerous route to go down with this stuff if you don't know the long-term effects. And obviously with weight loss drugs and things like this, you don't know long-term effects of someone and how they're going to feel and how they're going to react to these things. And that's the biggest problem with it, is that you're only going to see real world data after the fact. And that's one of the struggles. And because the demand for this drug is going to be so high, and because the cost to benefit ratio is so high, because obesity is one of the biggest drains on healthcare going, it's kind of like risk to reward of going, well, from a strictly data point of view, they're probably going to go, it's worth getting out. Even if the side effects are that as well, that's the other, conspiracy theory there. Well, okay, if it's 1 in 10,000 people feel that way, well, they may just go, well, the odds are worth it from a data point of view. Like, again, that's wrong, obviously, but it could just be that there's so many things it could be. There's so many reasons that they've let it slide or let it go, or whether they'll do anything about it. Do you know what I mean? Or not is questionable. But like you said, I think that there's straight off the bat what you said is bang on for once. You know,
I'll note that down. Jesus Christ.
It's that element of, well, are these people going to be in the best mental place possible if that's the thing that they're resorting to?
Yeah,
probably not.
And unfortunately, it says social media posts about people, often celebrities, shedding large amounts of weight has led to a big demand in these types of treatments.
Yeah,
brilliant.
I think it's hard though, because I do have to say, like, I think we won't ever know how much people are influenced by celebrities because we're not that type of person.
Well, I'm influenced by celebrities, definitely. I'll buy I'll buy all the clothes and shoes and stuff.
Yeah, I just think like it's one of those things where I just don't look at celebrities or looking into them. Oh my god, I wish I looked like that. Oh god, I'll do anything like that. It's like, well, you don't, so deal with it. I've just never really been like that. Like, so it is tough to try and get into the head of that person's life. But I just find that odd to me, is that someone look at that and go, oh, because so-and-so lost loads of weight and I look like so-and-so, I'm going to do skinny jabs. And it's like, is that how people's brains work?
Yeah.
Is it? Like, mine doesn't. And that's what I mean. It's hard for me to go, well, that's just a logical step. It's like me going, oh, John Rahm's really good at golf. And he uses that golf club, so I'll use that golf club and expect to be better at golf. Well, no. I buy it because he has it, because I like the fact he's got it, maybe. But I don't think I'm going to play golf like him. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I just find it odd train of thought.
Yeah, I guess it's because it's so rife in our industry as well, of celebrities just banging this shit out. But we're also in a position of in the know, I guess. And hopefully people have got those within those industries. And you're like, of course, Tom, they wouldn't do that in accounting. That's Dan's classic one to go to. We're like, why can't you do that? Well, that's tax evasion, Tom. Just be fine. It'd be fine. Just do that one. Yeah. Just put it there.
But only that, but I always find it odd because, like, I'm like, surely the people know that influencers are paid to say things and do things on Instagram. Surely they just know that. It's like all over the news. It's not just in the fitness industry. That's all over the place. Like, people must.
I know, because it's absolutely insane that people would just be.
This show is sponsored by the Compeed. Right? This is sponsored by Compeed. If you need anything for your blisters at all to help, whether it's post race, whether it's pre race. They're so easy to apply. They're super cheap. And right now, if you use code THALL10, you get 10% off. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Dear. Yeah. Yes, I did show down the box of but yeah, it's strange. I don't think, hopefully people are realizing that, because have they got, I don't see a lot of the paid partnership things anymore on Instagram. I don't know if there's people I don't see. Or I've unfollowed.
I think they are still there. I've seen them still there, but I think they are less and less. I think they're managing to find a way around it, maybe.
Yeah, you're like, all right, I just wear the thing, and like, oh yeah, of course, and talk about it, and just put as many different codes in the thing, like Joel Seaman does every single time. But yeah, hopefully people can see through that, and if there's a monetary value to that product, then somebody, you've just got to always put your kind of, unfortunately, be curious, not judgmental hat on, but be fucking curious to why that person's made that decision to post about that, or whether they're actually using it, or blah 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 blah. Little bit of a skeptic. Unfortunately, I think we've both got that hat on reasonably, and then you're like, all right, why? But it's sad if this is happening in terms of like suicidal thoughts on weight loss drugs. Hopefully they'll be like,
the reason that I think that what you said is so key is that when you read the article that you've got up here, the BBC News thing, is that it says manufacturer Novo Nordisk is working with the EMA and says patient safety is top priority. And it says the safety data collected from large clinical trials and post-marketing surveillance have not demonstrated a causal association between these drugs and suicidal and self-harming thoughts, because it's been on the market for 8 years as an obesity drug. So it's been on the market as an obesity drug for all these years, and it's never had any problems with this. The second it's used for weight loss, whether it's that there's a higher dosage, whether it's that, people are over medicating, because again, what we know with people from weight loss is they go, well, if one is good, two is better.
Yeah.
Rather than just sticking with what they, the one, are they overdosing it? Are they abusing the drug potentially? again, I think it comes back down to what you said, like, which is it's more of it's just a different demographic of people using the same drug that, okay, well, we've been using diabetes for years and no one's been saying that it's to do with having any issues with suicidal thoughts or self-harm.
Yeah. But the chances are, with the correlation of people who follow these people who have lost weight on social media, they're probably a higher prevalent of possible mental health issues in that population. So hence why you might see that. So
more at risk for sure.
Yeah. More at risk. Correct. All right, Caster Semenya. Of course, you've got an opinion on this, mate.
Well, I never thought she should have been banned in the first place.
No, same. I thought it was ridiculous. I mean,
I just think at the end of the day, like, she's born a woman. Whether her testosterone levels are high or lower.
Anybody doesn't know who Caster Semenya is like an epic fucking like middle distance runner, I believe.
800 meters
from South Africa. Yeah. So she 800 meters and 1500 meters. And then within the world of athletics, there's like obviously testosterone like testing, but she's proven that she's been a female her whole life in terms of sexual organs, like birth certificates, all that kind of stuff. She had to go to court about it, and then she was banned from running for a while. And then they brought in this kind of thing: you're not allowed to run these middle distance events, and she had to go and run 400 meters, which she wasn't good at, like because the testosterone had to be slightly different, blah blah blah. Because obviously those girls are a little bit more stacked in the 400 and sprints and stuff like that. So, but she had never trained for sprints and stuff like that. So she was not going to be good as a 400 meter runner. I think Mora did the same thing. There was a couple of like girls from Africa and they weren't allowed. She was like, you can either do the 400 or you can just step up to 5,000. You're not allowed to run those middle distance. And you're like, I've trained my whole life to run those two distances. And that's it. And you're like, no, you're not allowed
to. I find it so strange. And the reasons for that are this. So one is that she was born a female. I think she got to the point where actually I think her mental health was rock bottom because there was talk of her being made to literally have all these tests on her, like invasive tests, like in front of people to prove. And it's like, hang on a minute, like this is further than anyone's ever had to go before to prove their sexuality or whatever. And ultimately, she was just born and she had slightly higher testosterone than women. And she was told that she had to go on testosterone suppressing drugs to basically compete in a women's event. And the thing that infuriates me about it all is it's like, but yet you can be a man at birth now and transition to be a female and running it absolutely fine. But she couldn't, as an actual female, like she was born a female and she's an actual female. And she's now she's won the Court of Appeal, and I wonder if it's because literally like, well, you fucking let men run now. It's what's the fucking problem?
Exactly. So
like this is what I struggle with so much is that let's say that they turn around now and go, okay, cool, yeah, you can run now. I don't have to worry about taking medication. Well, she's lost 4 years of her career, potential gold medals, potential sponsorship, potential money, because some morons who change their mind like it's going out of fashion all the fucking time have now decided that, well, now literally anyone can say they're a female and running a race now, so we'll let you back in again. It's like, no, she always was a female. You can't lump her in with the same group of people. Yeah. And that's what frustrates me, is that she's been ostracized and made to feel this way. And I think a lot of her, from what I can tell, a lot of her competitors, they were fine with her. Yeah. They're actually not fine with men now trying to run as females. Surprisingly. Surprise. Yeah, and I just think it's like, I just feel really sorry for her. And like I said, for me, I always come back to, as an athlete, you've got a very short career anyway. And your physical peak and your physical prime, you've just won she won golds in 2012, 2016, and then she was banned because she set